Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Raj and Rich Show.
I'm Raj.
And I'm Rich.
He wishes.
You are in an angry mood again.
When am I not?
You were last time. So, folks, hi, welcome to our show. If you are watching on Facebook Live, you do not get to see the really cool graphics that we now have on our show. Like, we straight went back to 1970.
I spent 10 minutes on it.
He worked hard. He worked very hard on it. Anyway,
I tried 6 different fonts.
I have like 3,000 fonts.
Yeah, but I went through 6.
You went through 6.
I didn't feel like going through 3,000.
Yeah, I was going to say I have a lot of fonts.
I slaved over a hot keyboard for this shit.
You did. You did. So anyway, if you're watching on the Facebook Live feed, you can't see it. But if you go to our YouTube channel, which if you scroll down our Facebook page, you will see the link that gets you to our YouTube channel where we're at, because Facebook Live will only be on for a little bit of time before we turn this off and go over to YouTube. So,
and also when you go onto YouTube, you'll be able to actually go ahead, comment, and chat with us in the YouTube chat itself.
There you go. So we do this little tidbit here so some of the people that don't know we have a YouTube channel can see that we are doing something, and they can skip on over and be a part of it. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. It's been a week.
One hell of a week.
Thank God we're all still here.
Kinda.
The earth is trying to shake out from underneath of us everywhere.
And people are also being stupid. Like fucking idiots.
Okay. Well, I mean, I can't say the earth is an idiot, because, you know, the earth does what the earth does. But I'm just wondering, have we increased our like awareness of earthquakes or something? Because it seems to me that it's rather odd that the scientists were actually accurate this time, that there would be an uptick in earthquakes. However, the earth is slowed down.
Sounds about right.
Well, they said that there's going to be more earthquakes because the earth is actually slowed down.
I can actually see the science behind that.
Well, I can see the science behind it too, but the earth slowed down? Well, did we, like, bump into something? How does that work?
Hell if I fucking know.
I don't know either.
It could be gravitational waves.
According to our station manager, he blames Superman. So, anyway, that's one of the many things we're going to talk about on the show tonight. Not to mention the fact we're going to be talking about morons and Facebook challenges, immigration.
That's a good one.
We're going to be talking about spy satellites, because we're going to be doing a special space part of our show tonight, because me and you love space. We love everything there is to do with getting into space and all the research and everything and the science in the space. So it's going to be kind of a nerdy show in the second half of the show.
It's going to be great.
So if you're a jock and just a jock, the second half of the show will not be for you. But if you are a nerd like us and you like all things space, it's going to be a good show. I have no idea what just happened there. So anyway, but folks, first of all, we got to talk about what we did.
We did a thing.
We won. We won a fight, and we're going to gloat about it. See, last week on the show, we got to have a conversation about somebody being, the terminology of banning and suspensions. A kingdom decided that they were going to suspend somebody indefinitely, or no, they said ban somebody indefinitely.
The kingdom said that they were going to permanently ban a player from their kingdom
before they do the investigation.
Yeah, before the investigation had either started or before the investigation was even complete.
Yes, and which is wrong. You can't do that. Okay, and we try to explain there is a difference between suspension and banning, and they try to argue with us that there is no difference in the RP.
Yeah.
There's a catch to that.
Their wording, which you can even see on the comments on our previous YouTube show, their comment was that in the rules of play for Amtgard, it states that they use banning and suspension interchangeably.
Yes.
Now, the only thing is, and this is what we brought up, because the terms of the way that they use the word banning before the investigation has even started or was complete, they use the term banning. In the court of law, if you were to go ahead and ban a player before an investigation is done, you can be turned around and sued.
Okay, let's make sure we clarify this in a legal sense, okay? If you ban an individual from an organization that they have a vested interest in, okay, and you don't have a reason, you do not have a valid reason at that moment to ban an individual from the organization that they have a vested interest in, they very well have the right to then turn around and sue you for reimbursement for said vested interest. And yes, they can place your time, things that you have done and volunteered to do, into a monetary standpoint.
Yes.
It is very, very possible.
Because time is money.
Now, suspension, you cannot go back and sue an organization because it leaves the door open to bringing you back. A temporary leave of absence in a court of law. A banning means that they have removed you from that organization. And then, of course, the argument ensued about, well, we will turn around and, the ROP. Well, let me explain something to you, because I do have a legal degree. Okay? If you bring the ROP for Amtgard in a court of law, in a lawsuit, and try to sit there and say, well, here's what is the reason why we can do this, they're going to throw that shit out, because it is a fictitious book based off of an organization that basically plays dress up in sword fights. That's all it is.
That is how the mundanes see us.
That's how the mundanes see it. And when you're arguing in a court of law, you are not arguing to other Amtgarders. You are arguing to the legal system. And the legal system has definitions.
And a game does not supersede the rule of law.
No, it doesn't. So they can very well sue you. And so, in this argument, and they try to tell us we know nothing about banning and suspensions. We know absolutely nothing about banning and suspensions. We know nothing, right?
We're in the goddamn motherfucking Celestial Kingdom.
We're in a CK, okay? I think we know about bannings and suspensions. Not to mention the fact, I was a king in a kingdom that didn't know shit about the difference between suspensions and bannings, and I tried to educate them on this, okay? And that was when I was king. And I tried explaining this to them, and they didn't get it. Alright? They even had a lawyer advising them, and they still didn't get it. That's the problem.
So, the aftermath of this, after we went ahead and clicked back at the comments that were left.
Because they commented on our YouTube channel at the end, because when we shut this down, you can make comments, but the chats are no longer there. And they commented and said we didn't know a damn thing about it. Okay? So,
some person named Smiles.
Not Smiley.
Not Smiley.
Because a lot of people suddenly thought it was Smiley. It wasn't Smiley.
No.
Smiley's perfectly fine. In fact, Smiley's working Spring War, isn't he?
Yeah, he's one of the co-autocrats.
He's one of the co-autocrats.
No, it was somebody named Smiles in Emerald Hills.
Yes.
So the aftermath of this, the following day they went ahead and changed their wording.
They did, to suspend it indefinitely pending the results of the investigation.
No. What they said was...
No, they're still suspended, I asked.
No, they're suspended, but the investigation is complete.
Oh, it is now suddenly complete.
They posted, when they went ahead and changed the wording from banning to suspension, that the investigation was complete.
So somehow we forced the kingdom to finish it, to conduct, not only finish, but start an investigation and finish it in 24 hours.
Wow. Because
in that wording, when we read it, they had not even begun the investigation. They said banned indefinitely pending the beginning of the results of a beginning investigation. They did state that in their wording that they hadn't even started the fucking investigation, but yet they were banning this person.
And that is the reason why that we jumped on this shit real fucking quick.
If they would have said, as of due the results of an investigation, we have determined to ban Smiles indefinitely, we wouldn't have had shit to say.
No, but the thing
is... Because Crystal Groves just banned somebody indefinitely, and we ain't got shit to say about it because it was right.
The only reason why that myself and Rich jumped on this as soon as we did is because we love the game and we respect the players who are in it. Well, majority of the players who are in this game.
And here's the deal. I understand if we're going to suspend or ban people, I get it. We have people that are toxic and we need to get rid of them. We have people that violate the rules. Not you. Put your hand down. Okay? We have people that do things that we need to get rid of them. I get that. I understand completely. Just like what happened in KCG. This person, I knew the guy. I knew the guy. Friends with the guy. Okay? I did not know this guy had gone off the damn deep end and done some bad shit. But they did exactly what they were supposed to do. Okay? Their king, Arden Dawnseeker, did exactly what they did exactly what they were supposed to do. They got the reports, they did an investigation, they determined that this person was not good, it was harmful to individuals around him, and they banned him. Then he appealed his ban, they held a town hall meeting, allowed the populace to interact on his appeal. They went through that and determined that they are upholding it. Okay? Now he has the other process where he does a petition, however, it's looking like the petition's not going to pass because he doesn't have enough signatures. Okay? But they've done everything right. So we can't sit there and chastise them for doing it wrong. EH didn't do it right.
No.
If they did do it right, they sure as shit don't know how to word anything right. Somebody did not proofread the statement before they posted it.
When it comes to this game, especially when it comes to mundane law in this game, because as monarchs of a kingdom,
you are the CEO.
You are the CEO of a non-profit organization.
Yes, it is.
On top of that, you're also the last line of defense to making sure that that MPO stays solid by making sure that no jacktards or fuck-ups get through and fuck shit up.
Corin, I'm not sure because they would not, the reason why they hadn't done the reason why they said they hadn't done an investigation, they didn't say what the issue was. However, when somebody asks, is this a legal issue? Is this why we're banning them right now? You know, they wouldn't even say. He said that if it was a legal action, we would let you know.
Yes.
So evidently it wasn't, or if it was, like I said, they don't know how, they evidently, if they were doing it right, they don't know how to word it properly.
No.
And the problem is social media can be brought into a court.
Yes.
Anything you state on a social media page can be brought into court. People that like to post random shit about wanting to do shit on their private pages, guess what? It's admissible in court.
Yeah, cyberbullying is one of those things.
Cyberbullying is a thing. Lots of things that go on. So you have to be careful about the things you do on social media. And the thing is as an organization, if you post doing these things up on your page, okay, if you post things up on your page about these, guess what? It's completely upholdable in a court. If you get sued, somebody can take and subpoena that information and bring it up in court to burn you even further. You have to be careful about when you remove a person permanently from an organization. You have to be careful on how you word it. Okay? And if you word it incorrectly, you can't, you know, you're opening yourself up. Amtgard's been worried forever, since the whole SCA thing. When the SCA had to make a settlement for a couple $1 million because a guy was using the name of SCA and he was a former member of the SCA and was running around doing child pornography rings. Okay? Well, it drugged the SCA's name into it. And the SCA settled over this whole deal. And Amtgard's been worried forever since this happened that they were going to get sued and end up going through the same thing. And Amtgard doesn't have millions of dollars. No. Okay, they don't. They don't. Okay? And Amtgard's been worried ever since. The problem is they've been so worried they've written all these rules and regulations, but they've not looked at how they present themselves publicly in a social media standpoint, and they have opened themselves up to all kinds of possible lawsuits. All kinds. And it's just, it's ridiculous. I agree. Our station manager put up, I feel like kingdoms need a PR manager.
Not it.
Okay, not it. I mean, I realize I know how I could do it. Station manager's got his finger on his nose too, so we're out. Okay, I feel like I know I could do it, except my English is not the greatest, so it may come out reading like stereo instructions.
I am a goddamn wordsmith, but I am the worst person to put as PR.
But however, you got to be careful on how you word this stuff. Well, yeah, I understand that. Kill myself, but not all stuff on social media is used as long as it pertains to a crime. However, However, the problem is, when you're talking about actions you've taken against an individual in an organization, those words can be used. The moment you post anything about your actions you've taken against an individual to remove them from your organization, every bit of that is par for the course if they decide to sue. So if you don't word it correctly, you're screwed. They could sue and you're done. I get it. So you're saying the actions of a headstrong monarch could have legal backlash?
They're gonna thunk it.
Well, I get that. I understand that. And some people even thought when I was monarch that I jumped the gun on some of the ones that I did. However, the thing is, if you go back and you read I had a 1-year suspension and 2 indefinite bans while I was king.
Now,
okay, one was done by the board of directors. The second one was done by me. The third one was a joint agreement between the board of directors and myself. Kind of a forced joint agreement, but it was a joint agreement.
Now, don't take this as what we're saying as chastising you for doing the wrong thing or for fucking up and screwing up. Everybody makes mistakes.
It's educational.
The best thing you can do is learn from it and move the fuck on.
Make sure before you post anything, if you're in a kingdom somewhere watching this and you're not in the same kingdom we're in, if you're in another kingdom, okay, even if you're in the CK, if you're getting ready to remove an individual, first, what you need to do, yes, go Eagles. My boys did win last night, and they're moving on after everybody said they fucking wouldn't. So anyway, back to what we were saying. Before you post this is what you need to do, because this is what I did before I wrote up the 1 ban and the suspension. I wrote it all out on the computer first on Notepad. I messaged it to like 4 people, 2 of which weren't even in our kingdom, to make sure that I had it worded correctly, and they got sent back with some corrections, went through and corrected them, and then posted them publicly. Because I wanted to make sure that I wasn't putting something out there that was going to come back to bite us in the ass.
Perfect example. Not too long ago, the Monarch of the Celestial Kingdom had to go ahead and ban a player. Before he went ahead and posted that a player was banned, well, indefinitely suspended, he went ahead, did his write-up, and sent it into the Kingdom Officers chat.
Yeah.
So that way all the Kingdom Officers can go ahead, read it, proofread it, and make any type of corrections that need to be made so we can make sure that all of our bases are covered. So that way, in case this person decided to go ahead, turn around, and sue us, we were completely ironclad. And we're good.
And Corin, you're right. I know you're not a plunger and you hate bringing up old shit, but lessons sometimes need to be learned the hard way. Okay? They do. You know, I would have to say that one of the hardest lessons I ever learned in my lifetime in this game was actually becoming finally king after so many years. And I brought my old style of leadership to the role, and it totally didn't work. It backfired on me completely because the game had grown up from what I started in, and I did a very poor job as king. I did not do a good job because the group of people that I was leading, they weren't all old Amtgarders, so it didn't work. They were younger Amtgarders, and I should have adapted, and I didn't, and I really didn't listen to a lot of people. However, back to what we're saying, when it comes to the enforcement of suspensions and bans, you have to make sure you got to word it correctly, and you have to make sure you're using the correct terminology, because that crap will come back to bite you. It will, because one of the individuals that we banned indefinitely threatened to sue me more than once. He private messaged me multiple times and said, "I'm going to sue you." Now, at the time, Jesus Salang was not trying to steal the identity of Amtgard and was a legal advisory, and I just kept in contact with him. He's like, he's got no case because he tried to force minors to consume alcoholic beverages and illicit drugs. So you're perfectly fine. Let him drag us into court, because we're going to turn around and go, "Your Honor, this is why we kicked him out." And the judge is going to look at us and go, "I understand why. You should have called the cops, though, and had him arrested." You're right, we should have. I found out 24 hours later after it had already been done. However, like I said, I made sure that our wording was proper. Made sure that things were done the right way. And that's all we're trying to say. Yes, we counted as a victory that a kingdom went back and had to change its terminology, but in a sense, we also counted as a victory for them because through us, we made sure that they covered their ass. And their ass is covered. So
their MPO is protected, their players are protected, and the game is protected.
Exactly. Everybody's protected in the process. Yes, we did all this. We kind of gloated about it. I will say that. We kind of celebrated. We made sure we bragged about every single person we talked to. We did. Okay, but in all said and done, when we sit down at the table together, what did come out of this? We all learned a valuable lesson out of this. And you know what? That's one of the reasons why we do the show. It's not just a bag on Amtgard doing stupid shit.
It's educational.
It's educational.
Now you know what not to fucking do.
Exactly. So now you know this is what you don't do. Okay? And that's pretty much it. By the way, in a couple weeks, CK is having its mid-ring at Devil's Bayou.
Yep.
Come out. Have fun with it. They've got showers now. Hot showers now. Among other things. And who's doing food?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I'm doing battle games. It's going to be fun. It's a lot of Viking stuff. A lot of Viking games.
I'm not cooking.
I'm not either. I'm saving that for Spring War.
Yep. Spring
War's going to be a blast. You guys got to come. LaGrange, Texas.
He's going to cook some good meals.
And so is he.
Yeah.
So we're both going to be cooking.
I'm more advisory.
Liar.
Anyways, moving on away from Amtgard.
Yes. Moving on away from Amtgard. Well, since we're going to get into the mundane stuff, right? Alright. Well, first of all, I want to get this off my chest.
Okay.
It's mundane. I realize not a lot of Amtgarders are into sports, but I am.
Eagles.
Okay. Yes, I want to talk about the Eagles.
He's going to talk about the Eagles.
For 2 fucking weeks. Actually, ever since Carson Wentz got hurt, all I've ever heard is how now your team is a joke. Everybody's going to see what they are, and you're not going to win shit. We lost 1 game since Nick Foles took over, and that was the Dallas game, and we didn't give a flying fuck about that game because Dallas wasn't in, and we were already locked in home field advantage, so nobody even showed up to really play the game. I think we pulled fans out of the stands for that game, just put jerseys on them. Okay, but then last night going into the Atlanta Falcons game, alright, last night going to the Atlanta Falcons game, before the game, still the same shit. The Eagles are going to get their asses handed to them. In fact, they said that Atlanta was the first team to be a wild card team that got a second round bye instead of a first round bye because the Eagles were going to be that easy to beat. Who the hell went home? Who the hell went home? Atlanta's back in Georgia. They ain't going to they ain't got no shot at going to the Super Bowl. They're going to go to the Punch Bowl. Right next to the Chip Bowl. And over there next to that would be the alcoholic bowl, which if you fuck around and drink too much and eat too much, you're going to find yourself in a toilet bowl. That's the only bowl games Atlanta's going to. Just thought I'd put it out there. Just saying. Alright, now moving on because a majority of our crowd does not watch football. I do.
So, moving on to mundane bullshit. So, apparently, there's this thing that's going around social media with a bunch of teenagers who are fucking fucktards.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Go ahead with this one. Go ahead with this one.
So apparently this thing is called the Tide Pod Challenge.
Has anybody seen this shit? Okay, first I thought it was kind of funny, and by the way, this is going to be the last story we're going to talk about on Facebook Live before we move it completely over to the YouTube channel. Oh, Brett is the Fisocrat for mid-ring.
Okay.
And Natasha says go Vikings.
Anyway.
Fuck the Vikings.
So, this
Did they win today?
I
don't know. I hope so. We could beat them.
So, apparently, this Tide Pod Challenge, these stupid fucking idiot piece of shit kids are fucking taking those Tide Pods that you put in the fucking laundry machine.
And we're not getting cruel here. In fact, hold on. You do that. No. Because some people may not know. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So apparently their whole thing is that the Tide Pod Challenge, to go ahead, take that Tide Pod, stick it in their fucking food holes.
Because we're doing a story about it, we don't have to worry about copywriting. are trademarks.
Stick this shit in their fucking food holes that fucking look like this.
Evidently, they look like candy.
It has fucking detergent and bleach and a bunch of other bullshit. Fucking sticking it in their fucking mouth and then fucking trying to eat it. Like, fucking really? Like, if I need to, I'll fucking do it right now.
Yeah, see, it's that right there. Got white, got some blue, got some green.
God. So my whole thing is, why make them stop? Let fucking nature take its fucking course.
Right?
Fucking Darwin Award winners right there, motherfuckers.
Station manager. Here, take that off, Sam. There you go. I'm with you on this. It's like, oh, we should tell the world. Hey, I did the ice water challenge, and I donated $20.
So did I.
Okay, let me tell you, that ice water thing was actually, it was kind of refreshing, because it was kind of the summertime in Virginia.
That shit sucked for me.
And it was kind of refreshing.
I was in the middle of the night after a fucking show that I did hosting karaoke in Abilene.
But the thing is, here's my deal. Okay, you know what? They want to do all these warnings. Please put these out of reach of your children. Okay, the little children that don't know any better, yes, keep it out of their reach. But if you got a teenagers, is that fucking stupid? Maybe we shouldn't have that teenager anymore.
Fucking hang yourselves.
Okay, I'm not advocating anybody commit suicide, nor are you. Okay, the Raj and Rich show is not trying to advocate people committing suicide. You're gonna be dumb enough to get yourself killed. Why should I stop you? Okay, you know damn well you shouldn't be eating this shit. It's got bleach in it, for Christ's sakes. Bleach will kill you.
Now, I'm gonna start a new social media challenge. It's called the Autorog Asphyxiation Challenge.
No, God, no, we're not gonna, no. Your finger's making it into the shot, by the way. We're not gonna do that, okay? We're not gonna sit there and recommend that people choke themselves while playing with themselves. No.
I'll do it.
Okay, well, then we don't need to talk about that. I mean, I don't really care if that's your thing. No, more power to you. You choke me, if you try to choke me, I'm gonna kill you. There's a difference. But seriously, the thing is, God damn it, Corin. So anyway, thanks for reminding us.
I knew it was gonna come up.
I knew somebody was gonna bring up David Carradine. I knew it. So anyway, no, the thing is, okay, look, the kids that are doing this on the video, okay, don't think these are a bunch of naive children who know no better. They know damn well what they're doing. They know what they're doing, and they're doing it anyway. And, well, because somebody's done it, Kill Mill. That's why.
I'll do it.
No, you're not sticking a curling iron in your bunghole, okay?
It says orifice. Stick it in my mouth if I want to.
You're gonna burn your lips.
Oh well.
Okay, so anyway, no, why give them a warning? They already know what they're fucking doing. They already know that they're dumbasses, and they're going to get themselves killed. Maybe insurance rates will go down. I don't know. Funeral costs will go up.
Let nature take its course.
I'm sorry. I can't sit there and see a point behind telling people, hey, look, you shouldn't do this, when they fucking know they shouldn't do this. They already know. And they're doing it anyway because they want to get hits. They want to get hits on their YouTube channel. Like, we're not going to do this shit. If you guys want to watch us run our fucking mouths, then watch us run our fucking mouths. We're not going to be eating Tide Pods in order to get people to get hits on our YouTube channel.
They want to be internet famous.
Yes. That's all there is to it. So, that being that, I say we move on from that story because there's nothing else we could really go with it. They're being morons. I mean, if you want to check it out, it's on YouTube. You can YouTube it after the show is over, of course. That, you know, Tide Pod Challenge and watch just this shit.
So, moving on.
Okay, so anyway, folks, for those of you watching Facebook Live, we now say goodbye. That's right. If you want to watch us on the YouTube channel, click over, you know, you'll see the link on my Facebook page. Click on it. It'll take you to the YouTube channel. You can join in. So, for those of you on Facebook, see you later. You going to say? At least bye. Alright, so there we go. So that's the end of that. And now and as soon as that's done, do you want to save? Of course I want to keep it. There we go. Alright, people are like, I didn't know you were live. Well,
oh well.
I ignored your Facebook notice. So anyway, so moving on from that, because I don't think we need to talk about any more dumbasses than that, other than this dumbass move.
Fucking fucktards.
Let me ask you guys a question. If you were told the end of the world is in 30 minutes, what the fuck would you do with that 30 minutes? Because let me explain why the 30 minutes. Because you're like, 30 minutes is a little exact, Rich. A little exact. Yes, it is exact. Okay, but that's how long we figured it's going to take a country with nuclear power to get a missile from their land to our land.
So what would you do in the 30 minutes?
I don't think I could say, because I'm pretty sure one of them's watching. You know, I really don't know. I think if I knew I had 30 minutes left to go, I think I'd grab a hold of my kid that I have here, call my other 2 kids, tell them I love them, and just kiss them, and, you know, to do like he said, and grab some liquor and start drinking it. Because, I mean, what the hell else can you do? I mean, I made the joke today that, well, I can go rob a fucking bank because, well, there's not going to be any repercussions for it. But, in all honesty, I think I would call my kids up that are in Nevada and hold my one kid I got here, grab a bottle, go outside and wait for it to get really bright, you know, and hope it's over fast. And we're not one of the unlucky ones that get stuck with radiation poisoning and survives for a couple months afterwards. What would you do if you had 30 minutes to go? Be honest. Don't do the I'm gonna say just be a jackass about it. Be honest. What would you do with it?
If I only had 30 minutes to live, you know, I'd call my family, tell them how much I love them, tell them how much they mean to me, and I'd probably hug a stranger on the street.
Okay. Yeah. Well, the reason why we're asking what would you do with that 30 minutes was because the citizens of Hawaii thought that's exactly what they had. Because yesterday, Hawaii accidentally switched on the nuclear missile as inbound alert system they have. And the only reason why they have this is because Korea. North Korea, they figure Hawaii is going to be one of the targets because it's the closest landmass of the actual United States before you get to the West Coast, okay, for them. And Alexa, did you alert Hawaii there was a nuclear missile coming? So anyway, anyhow, in Hawaii they have an alert system, kind of like the Amber Alert system that we all get on a regular basis
through all their phones.
Every cell phone that's registered to a resident of Hawaii, this alarm goes off. Okay. And it tells them that pending doom is on its way. Please go to the immediate fallout shelter. Okay? So, these people thought they were going to die. And then, of course, immediately following after it, oops, my bad, the world's not coming to an end.
It was an accident on our part. Please negate any messages you received.
So that's why we were asking, what would you do with 30 minutes? Because that's legitimately, if North Korea launched a missile to hit Hawaii, you have roughly anywhere between 25 to 35 minutes is the roundabout time that it would take for the missile to get there, if it made it there. And you know, or if you know, because either one, North Korea's missiles like to blow up off the launch pad, or number two, we do have a anti-missile launch device using missiles. Ironic. So the thing is, you know, still that 25 to 35 minute window, that's all you have left of your life if you're on the islands of Hawaii. Because if they blow up a nuclear bomb on one of the Hawaiian islands, you all are dead. Some of you will die immediately. Some of you will die in the months to come. The entire island chain is gone. It's eradicated. It's out. So that's why I said, You know, so what would you do with that 30 minutes is the reason why I thought about it. And I was like, so if somebody decided to go do something rash, like rob a bank, like, well, fuck, we're going to die. I'm going to go rob a bank. Okay. He goes, robs a bank, comes out, cops everywhere, pointing guns at him, gets arrested, finds out the whole thing was fake, and he used that as a defense in court. Well, tomorrow wasn't really supposed to be here, Your Honor. I figured, what the hell went out? I mean, do you think anybody in the bank in Hawaii would be paying attention? I mean, they just all got an alert on their cell phone that the world's about to end. I mean, do you think anybody's going to give a shit? You're going to walk in, I'm robbing the bank, and everybody in the bank's like, so are we! It's a fucking party! I mean, it just kind of makes you wonder. And it's like a friend of mine who's older lived through the Cuban Missile Crisis. And he was like, dude, I lived through this shit once already. I really don't want to go through it again. But I mean, that's where we're at. And you know, the thing is some people are like, yeah, well, I saw somebody made a post on one of the things about it saying, well, it's because Trump's over there baiting them. Because he has a bear. No, that motherfucker over there in North Korea is nuts. He's crazy. Okay? It doesn't matter if we said, oh, please don't. Well, I mean, that's what Obama did for 8 years. Oh, please don't.
And they still did.
The motherfucker don't care. This is like the Iranians. They don't give a damn either. They got nuclear bombs.
And they ain't afraid to use it.
And they'll use them. Just like North Korea. I'm not a movie star, not a pilot. I won't survive these apocalyptic scenarios, but I will be with my family waiting for the amazing light show, right? You're only going to see it once. Yeah. You know, that's the thing. If you stare right at it and survive it, you're only going to see it once because your ass is going to be blind afterwards. Mm-hmm. And even if you close your eyelids, there's the funny thing. The guys that were there for the atomic testings, there was, when they first did it without goggles, they said when they closed their eyelids, they could still see through their eyelids because of the flash was so bright. Mm-hmm. Some of them said they look at their hands, put their hand up in front of the flash, and they could see the bones in their hands. Okay? Like, wow. I really do need to get that operated on. You know, so when you think about it, it's just like, what would you do with 30 minutes? And when the first bomb goes off, do the thumb check. You know? But anyway, so there you go. So so I'm pretty sure the citizens of Hawaii, there was an increase in laundry detergent sales because I'm pretty sure there was a lot of underwear got sucked into a few holes.
I would not doubt it.
There was streaks everywhere. Just saying.
It was definitely a brown level alert.
Okay. So now moving on from that possible disaster that didn't happen to another disaster.
To an actual disaster that actually fucking happened.
A lot of disasters, and this is just a string of them. Peru suffered a 7.1 earthquake today.
This is the second time in a week, isn't it?
Yeah, this is the second earthquake that they've had in the region in a week, and this is another big one. Last time we checked, the death toll is a very low number. Thank God. Thank God, it's a very low number. Okay. However, the Pacific Ring, or the Ring of Fire, okay, has been overly active. Overly active.
And Ring of Fire, we're not talking about Johnny Cash's song Ring of Fire.
No, we're talking about the plate rim that follows around the Pacific Islands.
Which is chained with volcanoes.
All up and down the west coast of the United States, down through Central America, into the South America region, over all the way up into Alaska, over to Russia, down into part of the China, Japan, Australia, all those areas, down through the Hawaiian Islands and stuff like a big ass circle. Okay? And it's been active as crazy. And like we kind of said in the beginning of the show, I made the joke, or I wasn't making a joke, I was making a statement. Scientists predicted that this year we're going to be in for a string of some massive earthquakes because the Earth's rotation has actually slowed down. And when the Earth actually slows down, now for most people you won't know unless you have equipment to check it. You know, so you don't have a way to determine, but it's by standing on the Earth going, I think we're moving slower. But the Earth is actually moving slightly slower. And they said every time the Earth's rotation slows down earthquakes increase. And it has something to do with the tectonic pressures when the earth actually slows down. Pressure builds. So, now in Texas we had an earthquake. But everybody that lives in Texas will tell you it's from fracking. It's not because of tectonic movement. They frack out outside of San Antonio, and that's where they had an earthquake, and it was because of fracking.
Yes.
So it had nothing to do with this. Could Texas see an earthquake from this? Yes, they can. The Colorado River follows a fault line.
Yes.
Okay? So it's very possible. Try slamming on the brakes in a fully loaded 53-foot truck. Imagine that on a tectonic scale. Yeah, that's as simple as we could possibly make it. So yeah, so that would definitely be a good example. Okay, so when's it going to end? I have no idea. USGS has said over and over again that earthquake predictions is not an exact science. It never can be. However, they do predict that it will be an increased earthquakes. Now, like I said before, are we just noticing more? There's not necessarily a huge amount of earthquakes. Is it just now we have the technology that you can be alerted more often?
Yes.
You know, because in Alaska, how many people actually knew that Alaska is one of the most seismically active places in the world? Okay. Not a lot of people, but now almost any weather app you get for your phone, you go into the options settings and there's an earthquake notifier on there. And I have it on mine, and when you open it up, Alaska's got them every day. Central America's got them like every day. You know, so these are things that a lot of people didn't know.
Now, Ben, with the whole causing San Andreas Fault to actually split, that actually cannot happen. The reason being is because there are two different types of plate movements. You have shifting and you have sliding. The San Andreas Fault is actually a sliding tectonic plate. So no, it cannot split.
Yeah. The San Andreas fault line. Okay, let me explain fault lines for you guys. Okay, a fault line is what exists when you have two plates. Okay, whether you have a subduction plate, or I forgot what the terminology when they're side by side and shake. Subduction is where one is going under another.
Yes. Okay.
The San Andreas fault. If you go there, there's an actual crack in the earth.
Yes.
There is a crack there. Okay, and it's because of the movement. Okay, there's an opening. It doesn't go straight to hell like a lot of people like, you go down and see in the core of the earth. No, it doesn't work that way. Okay, the plates are still together. It's just the landmass that was there when they moved, it pushed the landmass up slightly. Okay, so you have a little bit of a V pattern there. Okay, and it moves. And so when they move back and forth like that, it causes the ground to get pushed up slightly. Okay, and that happens. Now in the Sierra Nevadas where I lived, Sierra Nevadas is a subduction because they come together and push, and when they do, one gets pushed up, and that's how the mountains get formed.
Yes.
Okay. Same thing with off the coast, or over in LA area. There is a subduction plate off of the coast, and that's constantly going under. And at some point, this top one, as this one's rolling under, what happens is what these earthquakes do, and these are the massive ones, they pop. And when they pop, that's when you get the really bad ones. And that's what happened when we had the one in not San Francisco, but the one near Oakland that happened during the World Series.
Yeah. Okay,
they killed a whole lot of people. The one in Japan, that was what the one in Japan that ended up destroying the Fukushima nuclear power plant.
Same thing with the one that was close to Sri Lanka that put the Maldives almost completely underwater.
Yeah. Those are instances. Subductions are some of the worst because the way that they go, it's literally two pieces of earth. One is going under the other, and it recycles. It goes down, melts, goes back in. In fact, you go into the center of the ocean where the crack where the plate comes back out, and there's actually lines underneath. It's where it's coming out.
Yes. Well,
eventually, that one that's sitting over the top, it's getting curved down, and then it releases. So anyhow, it's happening. Okay, whether or not it's to the level, it's not. I don't think it's an apocalyptic thing. I just think we're noticing them more than we used to.
Now, the one that was like, what, an 8.3 off the coast of Peru?
That was the shallow quake that was way the hell off out here and didn't even create a tsunami.
But because it was in shallow waters, it didn't have enough pressure and enough water displacement to actually create a tsunami type event.
No, it wasn't that it was in shallow waters. The earthquake center itself was not deep. It was right at the surface line.
Yeah.
Something like that will not create a tsunami. It may cause waves to be a little bit larger on the surface of the ocean, but it's not going to generate a huge ass tidal wave.
It's not going to create this 40 to 50 foot walls of fucking water.
The one that they created in Japan, okay, that was because when that land popped up, it pushes the water up.
Yes.
Well, the water has to go somewhere. Okay, and we're probably putting people to sleep with earthquake conversations.
Most likely.
Okay, so.
All right, so moving on to that from that.
So now you're aware. So be on the lookout. You one day the ground could start shaking. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Just don't be under tall buildings.
So now we're going to go ahead and get into immigration.
Yes, immigration.
Now,
What a wonderful topic.
Now, just because I look ethnic does not mean that I am an illegal myself. I was actually fucking born here.
Yes, it's part of the Anchor Baby program.
No.
Oh.
My mom's white.
Oh, yeah, okay. So he's not an Anchor Baby.
No. So apparently, Immigrations and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, went ahead and raided 98 7-Eleven stores across 17 states and the D.C. area, arresting 21 people.
Which is proof that they don't only do this to Mexicans.
No.
Because, have you been in a 7-Eleven lately?
Majority of them are Middle Eastern.
Yes.
Or Indian.
Poor guys that did that San Antonio protest. They just outed themselves.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, see, there you go. Evidently San Antonio, just so you're aware, San Antonio passed a law that in their county, if you now have to be 21 in order to smoke. Well, the only people that protested in front of the city steps were conglomerate 7-Eleven owners.
5.
There's 5 of them. All of them were from the same region of the world. One guy looked like he really did not want to be there. One guy looked like he got paid to be there. That other guy wasn't sure what the hell was going on. And the one guy that was doing all the talking on the TV, I'm pretty sure the FBI was scanning their files. I know I've seen guys that look similar to that on the, hey, watch out for this guy.
He looked like, what was it, the fucking 9 of spades on the old cards.
Oh yeah, on the oh that's right. You remember the terrorist play deck?
Yes.
Yeah, he did. He looked like that guy. I swear to God, he did. He looked exactly. He looked like he could. If he isn't, he looks like he could be that guy's brother.
So now here's the thing: a lot of people are probably going to be up in arms, saying, "Oh my God, Trump is actually going to these businesses and arresting illegals. That's so unfair." Well, what about the Obama administration when he went ahead, sent ICE to go ahead and raid a meatpacking industry in Iowa, which arrested 600 people?
Well, hold on. Right now, a lot of the ICE enforcement raids that are going on are still ones that have been in the approval process stage to do it since Obama's been in office.
Since Bush was in office.
Yeah, I mean, you've got 2 different presidents before that. The ones that Trump has been telling people that they need to do, none of those raids have actually been conducted off of that. None. Okay? So there has not been a single raid orchestrated by the Trump administration. No. Not one. It's all been Bush-era raids and Obama-era raids, you know, that are being still conducted. And everybody's like, oh, look at Trump, he's doing all this. It's not him. Some of these raids, it takes years to get approval. It's not like one day ICE gets a hot tip and shows up and kicks a bunch of people out. They've been working on it for a while.
It's a whole fucking legal process.
It's a mess, and they've been working on it for a while. So the next time somebody goes, see, look, Trump kicked all those people out of the country that worked at the 7-Elevens. No, he didn't. Okay? The Trump era raids, you're probably looking at another 2 or 3 years before any of Trump era raids start going into effect.
Now, everybody who was arrested, they were going after illegal immigrants who were working in these establishments, and employers who knowingly hired them and falsified documentation by using social security numbers over and over again for these illegal immigrants. That's the only reason why they got caught, was because ICE went ahead and went through all of the I-9s and realized, holy shit, the same social security numbers being used for like 20 different individuals.
Yeah. Well, Kill Mill, to go ahead and address that, I will give you this. Yeah, Trump's played golf quite a bit and the taxpayers are paying for it. I got that. However, I will say this much. Please, thank you. We're in the process of shutting the heater system down because that's a majority of what you can hear on the audio when it kicks on. Trump has gotten more stuff done than the last president did in the first 3 years in office. So he's played a little bit more golf than he should have. Okay, I'll give you that. But to sit there and say that he's more concerned with golfing than doing his own job, I'm going to have to say that like I said, the man's done more in the 1 year he's been in office than the last president did in his first 2, if not 3. So, yeah, okay, yeah, he may play golf excessively. I'll give him that. I will say that.
Well, in fact, speaking of immigration and Trump, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, well, you know, he's repealing DACA, which is the whole...
Dreamers thing.
Yeah, the whole Dreamers thing. Well, truth be told, and Trump actually had a group of reporters in this meeting...
Yeah, I know about that.
With lawyers and lawmakers saying, look, we need to pass a bipartisan bill of love.
We need to make sure that the Dreamers in DACA that are actually contributing to society, the ones that have actually gone out and made something of themselves, stay. He said this.
And he even stated, he goes, especially those children who are brought across illegally by their parents. They cannot be held at fault for something that their parents put them through. So let them stay and learn and enjoy everything that we have to offer and become contributing citizens of the United States.
Okay. So he's doing that. The ones he wants gone is the ones that have criminal convictions. The ones that were brought here on this program and ended up incarcerated multiple times and haven't done shit. Those are the ones he said he wants gone. Yes. And do I have a problem with getting rid of them? Hell no! We got enough problems with our own people being criminals. We don't need to add to it. By the way, did he put a hill on his property and a flagpole to bypass some law about that? Okay, let me explain something to you, Kill Mill. Okay, and not saying this is right, but I know people who have money who have been able to grease the wheels a little bit in order to get something bypassed, in order to get something they want on their property. It happens all the fucking time. Okay. Yes, did he do that? Yeah, I know what you're talking about, and that is old. That's an old ass story.
Isn't that from like 2006?
I don't remember.
Wasn't it for like a golf course or something?
Yeah. And everybody threw a hissy fit about it then. And it got brought up during the election. And I'm just like, you know, can we stick to something a little more relevant? I mean, the guy used some money, greased the wheels a little bit, and got done when he needed to get done. Tell you what, if I had several $100 million, you know, not even saying billions like he does, if I had several $100 million and I want to build a shop in my backyard to work on cars, but I want to put a pit in to be able to drain oil and do work under the car, which in some counties in Texas you can't do, I would grease the wheels a little bit so I could get a pit put in.
And he even stated, and this going towards the whole immigration reform, he goes, I am all for a larger overhaul of the immigration standard.
Yes, which breaks away from what a lot of people want him to do as a Republican. Because the Republicans just simply want him to shut the border down and kick anybody out that doesn't have documentation to be here.
And he even stated, he goes, look, there may be times that I'm not completely in love with the bill that's going to be passed. He goes, but if it's going to create, you know, a better working system, then I will support it to the best of my extent. And if you go and start talking about, oh, you know, how Donald Trump wants to build a wall and yada, yada, yada. Well, Donald Trump even stated, he goes, what needs to happen is that a wall needs to be built in areas that are not protected by nature, especially in high traffic areas.
See, when he said wall, everybody immediately thought Great Wall of China was going up across the southern United States.
No.
That's not what he meant.
No, he meant going ahead and fortifying these high traffic areas so we can go ahead and stop, you know, these toxic and caustic, you know, immigrants are coming over that are coming here just, you know, to traffic drugs and sex rings and so on and so forth.
Human trafficking and you know, you name it. And I mean, cause look what happened look what happened in San Antonio when they found that truck with that trailer with all the Mexicans in it.
Exactly.
Okay, building walls not going to stop that because they came right through a border crossing.
Yes.
Okay.
So now, and on top of that, he even said also the areas that already have you know, a wall in place that needs to be restructured and rebuilt and upkept. He wants to go ahead and fix those things too. He's not saying, you know, build a whole fucking wall.
Yeah, he's not saying we're going to build, what is it, 32,000? No, I forgot what the number is.
It's something.
It's a lot. It's a lot of miles. We're not building a wall that long. Okay? Okay, we're building walls in high traffic. We're redoing the fencing system and the wall system we have in high traffic areas. Especially if any of you live around El Paso, Texas, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, right there by Juarez.
Yeah.
Okay, places like that, out New Mexico, Arizona. What's on the other side of the border in San Diego? What is that? What is that Mexican city?
Oh, it's
I don't know why I'm asking.
It's not TJ, is it?
Is it Tijuana? No, I thought Tijuana's further south. Anyway,
no, TJ's outside of El Paso.
No, that's Juarez.
Oh,
Juarez is outside El Paso. You can't miss Juarez. Juarez looks like a third world country just went through a war.
oh yeah.
I think it still looks like that today. It's been a couple years since I've been by there, but I still think it looks like that today. But anyhow,
I was horrible at geography.
But anyhow, because most Americans can't be held to that standard, so holding others coming into that standard is not only moral injustice, quite asinine. Okay, let me try to explain that a little bit. Okay, if you are here in this country legally, you're here. Okay? Alright? If you come here illegally and then don't do anything, there's no reason for us to fight for you to stay here. Okay, there isn't. We have enough problems inside of our own country. Okay? We have enough people that are homeless that we can't even take care of. But yet taking on other people, yeah, no shit. But the thing is we don't need to be bringing in even more people that are not going to help the issue, but deepen it. Okay, we don't. If you're going to come to this country and you're going to be a willing participant in this country, you know, and you're going to help this country, then so be it. Okay? We'll fight for you. We'll fight for your ability to stay here. But if you're going to show up and rape people, sell drugs, and break the fucking law over and over and over and over again, get the fuck out. Okay, we got enough people in our own country that are American citizens to do that shit on their own. We don't need more. Our prison populations are overpopulated anyhow.
I used to be a corrections officer.
Exactly. I used to put people in there.
I was working at a 2250 unit, which means that we only have enough to house 2,250 inmates at any given time, but we're already pushing 27 to 3,200.
Okay? We already got enough problems. You know, and of course, yeah, I know, you live in Austin, and homeless is a checkbox here. Exactly. You know, and that's all Trump has really been saying about this. You know, is look, I'm not trying to kick out every single human being. It's just not theoretically possible. However, we could go through and thin the herd. We can get rid of the ones that are constantly in the criminal justice system.
Yes.
It's not that difficult.
So, moving on.
Moving on, because we've beat this one into the ground.
Yes.
But plug o' doom.
So, apparently something happened overseas which has really piqued my interest.
Yes, please, tell us about this.
Because these idiots are fucking stupid. So, apparently, there was a jewel heist at...
I have to give them points for creativity, though, because this is the first time I've seen this happen.
Yes. So, apparently there was a jewel heist that happened at the Ritz Hotel in Paris. With 10 guys. Wearing hoodies and ski masks.
And what was their implement of destruction?
they were wielding axes.
They went in. They went full on fucking what, Viking? Showed up with axes.
Apparently, the way that it happens, they entered in through the back of the Paris Ritz Hotel, through the back entrance of the bar, ran right through, fired 10 shots to get everybody under cover, went to the jewelry cases, started smashing all the shit with their axes, and stole approximately 4 million euros worth of jewels, which approximates to about 4.8 million US. Now,
he knows this because it said it in the article.
It's very true.
I'm sorry.
So, apparently, 8 of the 10 people were captured.
They were.
Within the first 5 minutes of this shit.
Well, it's a little hard not to stand out in a crowd when you're wearing a hoodie and you're wielding an axe.
But here's the best part. The only reason why they got caught so quickly is because right next door to the Ritz Hotel in Paris,
You're gonna love this one, folks,
is the French Department of Justice.
That's like robbing a donut shop at 2 o'clock in the morning that's open 24 hours. Guaranteed there's gonna be a cop or two there.
Can you say fucking idiots?
Well, I don't even think moron applies. I think we passed that level. Now, what happened to the other 2 guys that are missing?
The other 2 that are missing is still at large with some stolen jewelry.
Probably because their asses walked outside real quick, noticed what was next door, and just went ahead and got the fuck out of there.
I think what they did was they smashed the first few cases, took what they got, and ran.
Probably. The other 8 decided they were going to fuck around in the store. You know, there's this terminology that we use in building businesses called location, location, location. Okay?
Just like suicide bombers.
If you're going to... Right. Okay.
Yeah, Ahmed the Dead Terrorist? Yeah.
Yeah, okay. If you're going to do some shit, make sure law enforcement isn't right around the fucking corner. You know, it's like going in, it's like anytime you go to Vegas when they have the World Law Enforcement Convention and trying to rob some shit there. Actually, believe it or not, you stand a better chance because then you got a bunch of cops all screaming at each other, no, I got this, no, I got this. But still, I mean, it's stupid.
I don't know. It didn't go into detail.
Yeah, it didn't have that much detail in the article.
So, these people are idiots. Moving on.
Exactly, Bacon. The whole story is a mighty strong example why some people don't need to breed.
They are the poster children for why women should swallow.
I wasn't going to go there, but he did.
Anyways, moving on.
So being Catholic. Fuck.
Hey, I'm Catholic. Fuck you.
I'm not.
Thanks, Lufa.
Alright. Our station manager's just taking us off the rail.
Now, moving on. Apparently, last Sunday at Cape Canaveral, SpaceX Falcon 9 launched a rocket into space.
With a spy satellite on board. Isn't it awfully ironic they launched one out of California, too?
Yes. So, apparently...
Which one was the real one?
Yeah. So, apparently, this spy satellite was built by Northrop Grumman, which is actually stationed in California.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I know this is because I used to pass by their plant all the time outside of our...
Well, they have more than just their plant in California.
Yeah.
They do also have one down in Florida.
Yeah, but this one was based in California. So, apparently, this spy satellite is now being tagged as a write-off. Because they're saying that the SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket went ahead, delivered the payload, but the payload failed to reach orbit.
And it failed to separate from...
No, it separated.
No, it said it failed to separate from the second section.
No. It said that it separated.
Oh, okay.
So, it separated, but apparently it separated too early.
Oops.
That's what they're saying. It separated too early, so the payload wasn't able to reach orbit.
Ground control to Major Tom. Major Tom, come in, please.
So the payload went ahead and fell with the upper booster of the rocket. That's what they're stating. But
when you read the article, the article is a whole bunch of we're not saying, we are saying, we're not saying. Which, if you've ever been in the government, which I have, you have.
A lot of red tape.
Okay. There's a whole bunch of shit in that story that's not being said that tells me that that bird is in the air and it is circling, doing its thing, because they just don't want to. They don't want to tell you that the satellite's up there because it's a spy satellite, but they don't want to tell you that it's not up there either. And it tells me when you start getting the governmental double talk, that means shit happened, and they just don't want you to know.
I think it's Russian collusion.
I don't know if it's Russian collusion on this one.
Well, everybody else seems to think so.
Well, I mean, everything's Russian collusion.
Apparently.
Yeah, so what it does is it say to honesty when we look for what we're not being told in the news, right?
Yeah. So the whole reason why we brought this up is not only one, is it fucking like, what the fuck? But also it's our segue to our next segment.
It is. Oh, we're going to move into that now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, what else do we have to say about it?
I will note that last week they did get the one off in California.
That was Friday.
You know, that was Friday, or this last Friday they did get that one off.
It was ALU.
Yep.
No.
The Alliance Launch Association, ALAU or LAUA.
Yeah, LAUA.
Yeah, there it is.
No.
They got theirs launched. We went to watch it on Thursday, and they scrubbed the launch because they had a valve issue.
Yeah, with the ground fuel.
Yeah, so they had a valve problem, so they couldn't launch. So they launched it on Friday, and they successfully got it off, and it did what it needed to do.
And that was also a spy satellite.
It was also a spy satellite. We got a lot of spy satellites going in the air.
Yeah. Russian collusion.
Right. Valve issue, Half-Life 3 postponed. Right?
Sounds about right.
So
our segue to space talks.
Yes.
So, we learned a lot that has happened in the past year. That I find interesting, and I know that you find interesting too.
Do.
And the whole reason why this got brought about is because last week we talked about Commander John Young.
Yes.
And as we talked during the world famous Richard Wilson show on Friday,
Yes.
you know, we decided, hey, you know, it'd be pretty cool if we talked about space because that's something that both interested us.
We do.
So for all of you jockey motherfuckers who don't understand or don't like science, you can either choose to stay and listen.
I think they already did.
Probably.
They already did. They already
Yeah, most likely.
They knew as soon as we started talking about the SpaceX deal, they were like, oh, here we go.
Yeah, they're like, fuck these guys.
Yeah.
So apparently, what I thought was pretty awesome was last year we learned about the Cassini space probe. So Cassini has been traveling for 13 years now, and it finally ended its career back in August or September by crashing into Saturn.
It did.
And apparently, now Cassini has done so much to give us so much information on space, especially around Saturn. Apparently,
we learned a lot about Saturn that we did not know before, that a lot of it was just theory.
So apparently, Enceladus, which is Saturn's icy moon, which originally was thought to be just a chunk of ice.
Yeah, well, they thought this was a piece of ice that during the formation of Saturn was ejected during its formation, and it's just a chunk of ice that is rotating around.
Yeah, so apparently the Cassini space probe circled around Enceladus several times and was traveling through water plumes. So they're like, holy shit. Started reading the information and realized that there was actual bonded hydrogen molecules.
Yes.
So what that means is
life.
The possibility of life. Because in order for there to be bonded hydrogen molecules on something that is pure ice, there needs to be a heat source.
Yes.
So they did. So they went ahead, got more information, and found out that there's actual heat sources on Enceladus underneath the ice crust with an actual flowing ocean body that surrounds the entire moon.
Which tells you that there is there's a body of material that's not ice that makes up, and it's ice on the outside surface of it.
Yes.
So there's actually land mass underneath of it.
Yes. So what they're saying is that, you know, these heat vents that are underneath the water is creating chemical reaction to go ahead and make these covalent bonds.
Yes. Which means...
So what they're saying is that the actual thing that's going on is almost like, you know, under the ocean surface for us, towards the bottom of the ocean with the heat vents, where it creates enough heat and enough energy and enough everything that could possibly support life.
Yeah. And what concerns me about this,
yes,
okay, because don't get me wrong, I think it's amazing, I think it's wonderful, but what concerns me is how scientists are, and at some point they're going to send something up to sample it, okay, and they're going to do tests on it there,
of course,
but somebody's going to want to bring some of it back. And
no, that's going to go into the next part, not Enceladus. It's going to be the other thing.
Well, no, I understand it, but
yeah,
still,
but
it still concerns me.
Yeah.
That they're going to bring this back. It's going to have some microorganism in it. Okay, it's like the episode of X-Files I watched last night. Okay, it basically, which is Chris Carter's. It was Chris Carter's salute to the original movie, The Thing. Remember that one? They were the researchers up in Alaska, and they found that thing that mutated, and it turned out to be an alien life form.
Yes. Okay.
Same thing here. They're going to bring this back. It's going to have some microorganism in it, and poof, there goes mankind.
Yeah. Kind of like that Doctor Who episode, Waters of Mars.
Never saw it.
Oh,
I've not watched any of the new Doctor Who. I like the old Doctor Who, not the new one.
Yeah, this one was with David Tennant, 10th
Yes.
Doctor. Really good episode. So, going ahead and doing that. So, now Cassini, after taking all these, you know, ratings and everything like that, was almost out of fuel. So they went ahead and decided to go ahead, put Cassini into a direct trajectory into Saturn. And what
basically pointed her at Saturn and said, "You go that way."
So the crazy thing about this is now we have a lot of information regarding, you know, the actual atmosphere and the makeup and composition of Saturn itself, which they're still dredging through the data because there's so much that it gave us.
And lo and behold, we found out that Saturn has a gravitational field.
Yes, Saturn has a gravitational field.
Which means it has a core of metal that is rotating, which means it is made up similar to Earth, except its environment is different, of course.
So now we know that Saturn's not just a gas giant.
Which is what a lot of the theory was. It's just a big gas giant.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. In fact, we're finding out, you know, that it's an actual. It is an actual planet. Yes. It has a core. It has a gravitational field to it. So it has a magnetic. It has magnetics. Okay. A lot of things we're finding out, you know, about this, and it's like Bacon said, so much information and years of data that they've got to go through.
Yes.
Yes. Theoretically, it's proposed that Jupiter and Saturn have metallic hydrogen cores. Yes.
Well, now we know that Saturn most likely does have it, due to the fact that it does have a gravitational field.
How long until somebody figures out when we do a Mars trip?
I'm sorry, magnetic field.
Okay, when we finally figure out and get man on Mars.
We're looking at the 2030s.
How long is it going to be before they start figuring out a way to try and do that at Saturn so they can start mining this shit?
Mining helium?
Well, no. A metallic hydrogen core. Think about the resources and the things you could create from being able to mine some of that.
We'll be able to go to light speed.
We would. So, I mean, I don't think we need to be going to other space bodies and raping them of all their natural resources. Yeah.
So, another thing Cassini found.
I don't know, just call me an asshat. I'm an environmentalist, you know, part-time. Yeah.
So, before Cassini
for other planets, not my own.
Yeah, so, before it actually made it towards Saturn, Cassini passed by a dwarf planet, or, well, Ceres. Ceres is this dwarf planet or asteroid, which it keeps getting, it bungles between the two.
Yeah, I know, and I've heard these arguments on this one too, on whether or not it's a planet or whether it's not, and it's like...
I'll put it to you this way. Ceres is a celestial body.
Yes.
That is right outside the Kuiper Belt. And the Kuiper Belt is the asteroid belt that is between Mars and Jupiter.
Mm-hmm.
So, right outside, Cassini actually found that there is organic molecules on the surface of Ceres with the potential of an underground ocean underneath the crust.
Yes.
So, finding organic matter,
life,
plus a body of water, shows that Ceres has potential building blocks for creating life itself.
Or it already had life on it, and we are now witnessing the end of that life.
Granted, primordial life, but life nonetheless.
Well, because you got to understand, the factors had to be perfect on this planet in order to create what it created. Now, I know people are going to argue the religious factor, okay, but things had to be perfect on this planet in order to create life from its primordial goo. One element out of the mix, just off a hair,
and fuck everything.
And we never existed. We don't exist. Okay, I'm wondering if Ceres is what would have happened if we were not in the mix properly, or are we now seeing it as after the fact that it had life on it and now that life is dead, and that's the remnants of it?
It could go either way.
It could, because there's not things moving around on it.
You know, Bacon, you are right. Kuiper Belt is outside of Jupiter. Oh no, it's outside of Neptune.
But still, either or. Okay, because remember though, there's still, you know, the thing is, it's interesting. It's interesting to know that it shows signs of biology of some form on there, and it would be really cool if we could find a way to get something there just to see it, and maybe be able to determine whether or not this is the end of or the beginning of.
Honestly, I think the next step would be to send a probe to actually test it and see exactly what's going on, and then send all the readings back, as long as we don't have any samples returning to Earth.
No, because we don't know what the category of that life is.
Then again, there are actual regulations that was made by the United Space Administration, where it states that, you know, on any exoplanet outside of Earth, that if there's anything, you know, like water, organic material, anything like that, it cannot be touched by human hands whatsoever. And it states that. And the reason being for that is because anything that we have could possibly contaminate it and destroy it, or it could have adverse effects on us.
Yeah, because we don't have the immune system built to withstand whatever it is, because we've never been exposed to it.
Exactly.
It's kind of like the whole Tom Cruise, when they did War of the Worlds, when they did a rendition of it.
Yes.
What killed the aliens? Stuff that we were immune to.
It was the flu.
But they were not immune to it, and they consumed us for energy purposes.
Yes. And
our sicknesses ended up killing them off.
Yes.
And so theoretically, it's accurate. It's theoretically accurate that kind of thing could happen.
It really is.
And that's why we don't do that. We don't want to contaminate them, and nor do we want them to contaminate us. It's a good safety precaution. It really is.
Absolutely. So, now, moving on. Apparently, another thing that really made headlines in space talks was the merging of two neutron stars that created a kilonova. So the greatest thing about this is that the impact between the two neutron stars merging created a gravitational wave that ferrometers were actually able to read.
Yes.
So because of that, and they actually developed the instrumentation to read these gravitational waves, which started to create gravitational wave theory, which in turn, they're building more instruments now that are a lot more precise and a lot more sensitive, so that they can actually see that they can still read gravitational waves that happened during the Big Bang.
Which, you know, would give us more insight on the creation of the universe.
Absolutely. And we all know that the universe is ever expanding.
Yes.
That's the reason why it's called space, because it's space.
Well, and of course, I know some people have already asked. I have asked before. You know, is there an end to it?
We don't know.
We don't know because there's...
It's the final frontier.
Like, you get to the other end and there's a sign that says road closed. You didn't get that far. Now, you know what we'll find when we get to the end of of the known universe? A Viking ship.
I'll make sure I have my towel.
Right? The Vikings will be there. Damn Vikings. They were on the moon first.
Right.
But no, that's just a little bit of humor, folks.
It's just, you know, this
I like the fact that we're now able to measure gravitational waves that are created by these things, because now we can get a much larger picture of what's happening when these things happen.
And the greatest thing, you know, because of these instrumentation that's being made, they're now able to go ahead and track black holes.
And we're finding out that black holes aren't as devastating as they originally thought. They originally thought before a black hole, whatever went in was destroyed. There was no coming out. But they're finding out that that's not the case. No, that black holes are not as significant as they originally thought. You know, yes, they are still dangerous to anything we've ever created.
Absolutely.
You know, they'll destroy, we've never created anything that would withstand the gravitational pressure that is created inside of a black hole. Okay? Because I think we've never sent anything into one.
No.
To study it. However, we can see a couple of them.
Yeah. So what's great about this is that with these new instruments that they're creating that are actually up and running,
we might actually be able to send something close to a black hole and actually study the gravitational pull to find out if they are what we've always thought they were.
So pretty much what's going on is that they're able to track black holes, and they've actually caught black holes merging and creating bigger black holes and creating supermassive black holes. And every time these black holes move or they merge or anything like that, it creates a huge gravitational wave distortion. That's how they're able to pick up on this and read it. Now, what that correlates to is that when they pick these black holes up, they're now able to map it and show exactly where it's going. So that way, when we go ahead and start going to space travel or sending, you know, more satellites or more rockets or anything like that, they can actually map trajectories to avoid these black holes, if need be, or know exactly where to send them so we can study them. And I think it's fucking amazing.
I think it'd be great to be able to study them. I mean, the theory is that once you get so close to them, you get the gravitational pull from one of those is so great that you know, we're going to have to do it very cautiously when we do study one for the first time, because if the theory about the gravitational pull is correct, and once you get so close to it, whatever you have gets sucked into it and destroyed, we're going to have to be very, very careful when we do that study, because we don't want to send a probe out to study a black hole and then we say, okay, well, we're going to park it here, and before we even get there, it gets the gravitational pull, grabs it, sucks it in, we never get any information back, and we've lost a multi-billion-dollar probe trying to figure it out. You know, so that's, I don't think me and you will see in our lifetime a probe making it to a black hole and getting a significant amount of study off of it. I do know that we'll be able to, with being able to study gravitational forces, especially with this kilonova, we can better work our theory on how black holes are. Because even Carl Sagan said, this is a black hole. Everything we're about to state about a black hole is pure theory. There's no way of knowing.
So another good thing about, you know, these interferometers that they're making to go ahead and study gravitational waves is that it actually proved Einstein's theory of gravitational waves.
Okay, and that theory was?
And that theory was that, you know, due to, you know, massive space events like the Big Bang, you know, because the force of destruction is so great that it would create ripples throughout the universe in the forms of gravity, which can be felt or seen or recorded or measured anywhere.
Yeah.
So because of that, they were actually able to make interferometers which were able to pick up on gravitational waves, which has solidified the fact that gravitational waves do exist.
Yes. And some people said that they didn't simply because you can't see them or anything like that. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Exactly.
It's there. I think it's a great time that we're coming up with the technology to be able to study these things. I think that soon we're going to find out more about our neighborhood and what goes on in our neighborhood. There is so much stuff that goes on even locally, just in our solar system, we don't have a fucking clue about.
Yeah.
You know, and we're now getting to the technology where we can study these things. It's like me and you had a conversation before I die, I would like to see us land on the moon again. I would like to see us land on the moon again. I would like us to stay on the moon for a longer period of time. I read an article yesterday about the possibility of going back to the moon and actually staying there for months. And then possibly, you know, seeing us go to Mars before I die. But I'm not holding out hope that it'll happen before I die, but I'd at least like to see us go back to the moon in my lifetime.
Yeah. The only issue that I would see, you know, with us staying a long period of time on the moon, which we weren't able to do before, it's pretty much the same reason, but I believe that we do have the technology to go ahead and circumvent this and protect ourselves. It's because, you know, on the light side of the moon, you know, everything's okay, but it's just massive amounts of radiation.
Yes.
Okay? But also, when the moon rotates and you get to the dark side of the moon, it hits sub-zero temperatures.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing that I could see us having an issue with, between the radiation and the temperatures. Because temperatures are going to be fluctuating.
I agree
constantly.
with you, Bacon.
Yeah. So temperatures are going to be fluctuating. Massive amounts of radiation are going to be coming down. So we have to learn, we have to come up with ways to protect it.
And it's just like Bacon said, it's the same thing I told you when we discussed this. Let's use the moon as a test body so we can build the stuff we know we're going to need to build in order to go to Mars.
We literally talked about this Friday night.
We did.
After the show.
We did. We talked about this Friday night. Use the moon as a test body to be able to build this stuff and test this stuff to make sure it will uphold. Because Mars does not get hit with the same level of radiation that the moon does.
No, it does not. But there's a difference between Mars and the moon.
What's that?
And the reason why that we found this out was because of some space probes and also curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, Mars does have an atmosphere.
It does.
And it also does create enough wind to create dust devils and tornadoes.
Yes. And in order to have a air mass being able to move in containment, it has to have an atmosphere.
It does.
It can't just be there. Because whatever's on it, when it gets blown around, first of all, the solar winds would have blown it completely to rock.
Exactly.
There would be no dirt
there would
left. Okay. However, you know, and the thing is, the moon doesn't have an atmosphere.
No, it's not.
Okay. So if we perfect the system where radiation and the cold and everything else will not affect them, we know that that would work on Mars. Because Mars does have an atmosphere. Mars does have some shielding.
Some.
That the moon does not have.
But we also don't know how fast the winds are on Mars. We don't understand the intensity. On top of that, you're also looking...
I thought when we landed the rover on Mars, we've gotten a good idea of how bad the storms can get.
We have an idea, but we don't know what kind of damage it could cause. Because anytime that winds pick up, especially on Mars, it picks up all those particulates.
It does.
So we don't know how fast those particulates are going to be traveling, so we need to find out exactly how to protect and shield ourselves against that as well.
Well, Killmill is a HAVAC guy. Maybe we can send Killmill to put in some really great filtration systems so we make sure it doesn't harm them while they're there.
Well, filtration is one thing, but, you know, the actual particulates coming out of the sides of the HAB.
Well, this is very true.
So we need to come up with a way to go ahead and shield from that. By up-armoring everything.
The storms of Arrakis would eat the flesh off of a man in minutes. Yeah, I mean,
not denying that.
If you ever thought you've seen some bad dust storms on the planet Earth, you have no clue until you look at some of the ones observed on Mars.
Yeah.
That man has not quite created the material to build a building of any kind in some of the storms they have on that planet.
No.
I mean, it's going to be a while. That's why I said I don't hold out hope that we'll get a manned mission to Mars in my lifetime. I hope. Part of me hopes they do, but part of me is like, let's just make sure we do it right. Well, the last thing I want to do is send like a team of 7 or 10 people to Mars, and they fucking die.
Well,
because then we'll never ever go back.
Well, that's the thing. The timeline right now that they have set out is in 2020. They're setting up a new rover, which is going to be a beefed up, upgraded version of Curiosity.
Mm.
So that's already in its final stages, and they're fixing to go ahead and send it in 2020.
Yes.
They're planning in the 2030s, so 2030, 2039. They're looking at sending a manned mission to Mars.
I told you before, I think it's great. However, I would like, and here's the funny thing, and one of the things I read in this article, and I agree with it completely. Okay. We do not have the technology to put a man back on the moon. We don't. Okay. We had it in the 60s and the 70s. Okay. But we've retired that technology. Okay. Because we did it, we did it dangerously.
We did.
I mean, we were on the edge of losing lots and lots of people every time.
Yes.
Okay. But we've retired that technology. Okay. And people are like, well, just unretire. It's not that simple. Okay. It's not like you could just take you take the Apollo missions out of mothballs. Okay. That's not where it is. But, you know, we need to develop a system. And don't get me wrong, because the new rockets we're using now are bigger, you know, are more powerful than the Saturns.
Yes.
Okay. But we've no longer developed the way to put men in that and take them to the moon and bring them back again with the technology we have now. We have not built our technology for manned space flight to the moon.
No.
So the technology is no longer there. We're going to have to redevelop the technology, which is going to take a long time. Okay? And the problem is, when we flew the Apollo missions, okay, it was 5% of the nation's budget.
Yes. To
do that. Space exploration is now less than 1% of the budget. Okay, it's going to have to go back to the way it was. Now, I get that through SpaceX, we're funding this privately. We're letting it commercially happen. But SpaceX and those wonderful people that are trying to do this privately don't have the funding to build a manned mission to the moon.
No.
Okay? It's going to take a joint effort between multiple nations now. Can't be just the United States doing it.
Correct.
It's going to be multiple nations and multiple private entities. They're going to have to get together in order to do this. And, you know, and unfortunately the last several, I was just getting ready to get to that, Bacon. The last several administrations have slowly stripped it down. It wasn't really since Clinton was there a real interest in space exploration. Bush started to strip down. Obama continued it. And now Trump is kind of like trying to push it, but the problem is you got government that doesn't want anything to really do with putting a man on the moon or Mars. So it's going to take a joint effort of multiple countries. It's going to take a joint effort of private industries in order to make this happen again.
Yeah.
So when they say that 2020, we're looking at putting, you know, between 2010 or 2020, looking at putting a man on the moon.
2030.
No, 2030 is when they're supposed to be launching a man. Between 2030 to 2040 is when we're supposed to be going to Mars. Sometime between 2010, which is already passed, and 2020, we're supposed to be talking about going to the moon. We got 2 years left to go before we leave. We get into actual 2020, and now we're on the 10-year clock according to that prediction. I don't foresee us getting on the moon in 12 years.
No.
I really don't, unless somewhere out of nowhere a bunch of private organizations get together and say, we'll do this as long as the government backs us up.
Well, honestly, I think right now there actually has been a lot of work being done to actually go ahead and develop the technology and perfect it to the point to where we can do a manned mission to the moon. I'm pretty sure that people have been doing it for a while.
I have more faith that we're going to have a farmer build a rocket
The
and go into
Astronaut
outer space.
Farmer.
Yeah, it was a fun movie.
Billy Bob Thornton.
Yeah, it was a fun movie, though.
It was great.
I still love his one line, go, how do we know you're not building a weapon of mass destruction? He goes, because quite frankly, if I was building a weapon of mass destruction, you wouldn't find it. I love that line. It was a great line in that movie. But, you know, the thing is, I hope, you know, that we go back.
Yes.
I hated seeing the space shuttle program end. I really wish they would have updated it and kept it going. That was like my thing. I grew up with the space shuttle program. Okay, that was my thing. I love the space shuttle program. I wanted to fly on the space shuttle, for crying out loud.
So did I.
Okay, I wanted to be on the space shuttle. Unfortunately, there's no way they're putting this into space. They need a few more rockets. I want to see us back in space more. I want to see us have a bigger presence. I want to see the things from the movies where we have a large space station outside of the planet.
Yes.
Not the one we have now. A big one. You know, the things that Gene... And I will tell you, a lot of the reason why I got into space exploration between my mom was Gene Roddenberry, because everything that he has in Star Trek, with the exception of the alien. Okay. With the exception of the aliens. Okay. Theoretically is possible, and they've proven a lot of it in the last 20 years.
Yes.
Okay? I mean, come on. 30 years ago, it was a pipe dream that you would transport something from one space to another. We've done it with an atom.
Yes.
We have actually transported an atom from one side of a room to another side. Now, when I say one side of the room to another side of the room, I'm not talking about a room this size.
No.
Okay, we're talking about the size of a warehouse. Okay, but it's been done. So it is possible. Now, are we close to doing it to living organic material?
No.
No. It's still going to take a while. We have isolated antimatter propulsion on how it needs to be done. However, we don't have the material in order to do it.
No.
You know, before it was simply a matter of matter, antimatter. Well, in those days, antimatter was a made-up thing.
Yes.
Okay?
But
they've
now,
proven antimatter.
yes, they have.
They have proven it, but the problem is...
It's so fickle.
And the bad part is, if you get the mixture off,
It's catastrophic.
it's worse than a nuclear bomb going off. It really is.
That's the reason why the CERN Super Collider got closed like 4 fucking times.
And there's still, to this day, people that believe that if the Super Collider was ever used to its full potential, which it never has been,
No. It's always been restricted.
it will create a black hole.
Yes.
I mean, you're talking about bombarding 2 atoms in an insane amount of speed using a magnetic force. Okay? Theoretically, you're also talking about how a black hole is formed.
Yes.
Doing the exact same thing on Earth. So it is a little scary when you think about, we have the technology and to know how to do this. Now comes the question, should we?
Now, granted, the Super Collider has actually been used to find new elements.
This is very true, but at what percentage of actual overall power was it used?
At like 20%.
Okay, not 100.
No.
Okay, I get that, Bacon, that there's a very small chance, less than 0.0001%, when smashing iron atoms creating a black hole. Okay, I get that, but it's never been done, and there is just as strong of a theory that it could create a black hole as there is a theory that it won't create a black hole. So the day that we go to 100% on a super collider, first of all, the amount of energy alone it's going to require in order to manage that.
Yeah.
Because where is R? Where's R's at?
The CERN Super Collider.
Yeah.
That's in Switzerland.
Don't we have one in the United States?
No.
I thought we did.
No.
Okay, so you're talking about blacking out most of Europe in order to divert the power to make that thing go to 100%.
No, you're okay. So we have the CERN Super Collider, and then we have the Large Hadron Collider. Large Hadron Collider is here in the U.S.
Okay, but that's not the same thing.
It's the Large Hadron Collider.
We have a small one in Idaho.
It's a smaller one.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so LHC is at CERN.
It's nice when we have somebody in our chat room that knows what the hell we're talking about.
Well, so he can Google it too.
Well, I realize that, but I have a feeling Bacon follows.
We appreciate your footwork, Bacon.
But I have a feeling that Bacon follows space just like the bunch of us do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, well, he's definitely a nerd just like us.
By the way, you doing all right?
I'm hurting a little bit. But
Okay. Well, I mean, at any point we could kill this.
No. I'm good. Don't worry about me.
So anyway, so I just it's not that it's concerning for me. I want to push the boundaries of science. I want to see us get to warp speed,
Yes.
which is which is now it is adopted as an actual measurement of speed. Okay. Before warp speed just used to be a joke when you were fantasizing about flying into space, but it's actually measurable.
Yes.
Okay. Remember ray guns were always a joke, but
Yeah.
we've figured out now we have now been able to use lasers, and we've tested lasers now in a defensive purpose.
Yes. Railguns.
Well, railguns never existed for a long time. Remember that, even though they did.
Well, they're still like testing a new one out, and with the.
But we're no longer hiding it. It used to be
No.
there was ones on naval ships that never existed.
Yeah.
The thing is, I always love pushing the boundary of science. I really do. I love science. Does it literally do that to you?
Yes.
If you push too much, it shuts you down?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Well, he's the only one talking in here.
That's the reason why.
But there's sometimes though we need to make sure we're watching our steps when we do it, because going blindly into it. Oh, you got one too?
That's what he sent me.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to show you.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Spamming. That's what it is.
but but one other thing, moving on from this, okay. One of the other things is we found out what did you find out about Voyager?
So
Y'all remember Voyager? I do.
So
I was alive when it went up.
So a few years ago, Voyager has actually left the solar system.
Yes. I thought it was done and gone.
No.
I thought it was dead
No.
in the water.
But after 37 years of Voyager being up and traveling, not too long ago, the actual Voyager team went ahead and started up its secondary rocket system.
Yep.
To go ahead and test it, make sure that it's still working. And the reason being for that is that way, in case the main boosters on
The
it,
navigational boosters.
if they go out, so that way they can go ahead and use the secondary to turn Voyager around and point it towards the Earth so it can still receive.
How big is Voyager?
That's a good question, Cotton.
Because the reason why I ask is it's been going on out there for a long time. And it has to use its rockets to navigate itself.
Not necessarily.
It uses them slightly to make course corrections. I understand that.
The way that they had Voyager 1 and 2, the way that they sent them up was when they sent them, that's when the planets were getting ready to align, like they do every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
So the way that they had it set was that way it would use the minimum amount of fuel.
I get that.
Constant slingshot after constant slingshot after constant slingshot. So it used very, very little fuel.
But how much fuel do they have on board that after all this time, it's even still good? Because every fuel we've ever created has an expiration date on it.
Well, think about it this way.
Even liquid nitrogen has a expiration date on it, which is one of the primary fuels they use in space is liquid nitrogen.
Yeah.
Okay, because it's sustainable in space at this, at the temperature that space is. It's not hard to maintain it. But how much do we have on board these things?
Well, from what I understand is that...
And the only reason why I ask is because the engineering part of that is not something I studied really hard on.
So the way that I understand it is that they have it in pressurized fuel cells, pressurized cells that have compressors on them.
Yes.
And the compressors run on solar energy.
Yes. Well, I understand it. When
Yeah.
when they go up for deep missions, they do have a very large solar panels
Yes.
on board.
So with that, the way that it works is because using Newton's law of motion, which is an object in motion will stay in motion unless acted on by an equal or opposing force.
Yes.
So what they'll do is they'll go ahead and let off just a tiny bit. Pop.
Well, yeah, it doesn't take much.
No, just a tiny bit, and it'll go ahead and start rotating. Then when it's ready to go, pop, pop, pop. Done.
Yeah.
So, like, literally, you can take, like, let's say you have, I don't know, a 5-gallon jug. That's probably what they have. Probably holds 5 gallons.
I'm pretty sure it's probably more than just one 5-gallon canister. But okay.
Hypothetically.
Okay. Let's go.
So
with
let's say that 5-gallon, that 5-gallon jug, okay, has very rarely been used the entire time. It's kept under constant pressure, constant equalized pressure.
that. Okay.
Okay, so you have consistency. You have all the makings of everything being the way that it's supposed to. So if you're only letting off a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here, let's say after 37 years, you've only used half of it because you've barely had to use it.
No, I get that. What I find another thing amazing about it is that something that was built, they started building it back in the 70s, finished it in the early 80s, launched it. It's still working.
Yes.
When we can't build shit today that lasts longer than a year.
Right.
So sometimes it makes me wonder, is our technology jumped so forward that we've lost the ability for quality as well? Because Voyager's still out there operating after 37 years, and God knows what it's come across. And it's not been destroyed.
No.
Which begs against the argument, well, man shouldn't go outside the solar system because it'll kill us. Voyager's outside of our solar system.
Yeah.
Okay, and it seems to be operating fine. Now, how long did it say how long it takes for them to send that message to Voyager, it to receive it, and it to do this thing?
I believe it takes somewhere about, I think it was like 18 to 24 hours.
So, radio waves, because it's still on an old binary system.
Yes.
Okay, it's not digital by what we use today. Still travels very, very well in space.
Yes.
Okay. So, and that's a good thing. You can have 2 of them, but not 3. Okay, quality, power, and price. You can have 2 out of 3. Okay, well, if we build with quality and power, we're definitely not getting the price.
Yeah, but everybody loves flashy things now.
You know, and that's the thing, you know. But I will say, you look at the Hubble Space Telescope.
It's still active.
And it was built with antiquated technology. We had to go up and fix it.
Yeah. There was a new telescope that was actually sent up not too long ago, I think in like 2008, where it uses infrared.
Yep.
And we were able to get a lot more clearer and sharper images than what the Hubble Space Telescope was able
Well, of
to
course,
give us.
because there's spectrums of light out there that we can't see.
Exactly. So that's the reason why that we're able to go ahead and capture
Because
other things.
you gotta figure the UV light, the ultraviolet light that comes off of the stars alone, we can't see. And so it would be great to get a UV spectrum lens to be able to see the UV waves that come off of things.
Yeah.
But I for me though, knowing the fact that Voyager's still out there, we're still getting information from her.
Yes.
You know, I think it's amazing, and I hope soon we get some more information from Voyager on what the hell's out there outside of our neighborhood.
Well, who knows? Maybe it might even have a close call with Oumuamua.
And will you explain that to people?
So Oumuamua, a lot of people have thought, is this ancient piece of technology, or an ancient, this ancient alien relic or vessel that is long in size that has entered into our solar system. Well, it turns out that Oumuamua, which is Hawaiian for a faraway messenger who arrived first, came into our solar system from outside of our galaxy.
Okay.
It apparently does not belong to the Oort cloud, does not belong to the Kuiper Belt. It comes from outside. And a lot of people were like, oh my god, it's on a crash course, it's going to, crash into the Earth, yada, yada, yada. Well, the scientists have been trying to go ahead and take, as much readings and everything like that as they can of Oumuamua. And it turns out, because sometimes, with beginning of...
And Bacon, I'll address that in a minute.
Yeah. Because of, the way that our solar system came to be, the gravitational forces of the sun, would push objects out and then bring it back in due to its gravity.
Yes.
But Oumuamua actually came from what they're saying is either a different part of the galaxy or a different galaxy altogether.
Mm-hmm.
And it's made its way through here, and apparently what it's going through, it's coming into the solar system, and it's going to continue going out.
Because it was pushed out from something that happened.
Exactly. Which, possibly Big Bang.
Very possible.
Very possible.
Okay, now to get on to that about ion drives and stuff, and drive systems...
Yes, a rogue celestial body.
Has been one of my things that I look into and I study. And one of the things that we have to worry about, ion drives, yes, very baby stage. It's very possible. We have two problems when we talk about being able to accelerate. And one of the reasons why warp speed is a measurable speed, however, there's a problem. There's another theory by a scientist about traveling in space.
Yeah.
Okay. The problem is space is a vacuum. There is no resistance. You could take a brick and fly it just as fast as the most aerodynamic thing you could possibly build.
Yes.
In space, because there is no resistance. There's a problem. Once you start accelerating, as long as you have a force that's causing that acceleration, you will never slow down. You
Correct.
will only increase speed. So theoretically, even if we take the propulsion systems we have today and give them an endless supply of fuel, you could eventually achieve warp speed.
Yes.
You would eventually get there.
It's just
Okay.
the issue is...
It would take you forever, but here's the problem. Okay? And I subscribe to this theory. I do. I believe this theory. Once you achieve a speed faster than light, time for you stops.
Yes.
Okay? Time for us doesn't. Those of us moving at normal speeds, okay, everything's fine. For you, it would stop. So if we were able to achieve an instant light speed, okay, those people would be behind us. Okay? The other problem we have with that is stopping.
Yes.
In order to stop, you have to have an equal or greater force than that which got you to that speed and at your current speed. So that force has to be greater than the mass that's currently moving at that speed, which would destroy anything. And to get to that speed and slow it down safely, let's just say that if I wanted this lighter to go from here to here, but I wanted to do it in warp, I could only move it that far under warp because it would take till here to slow it down. So it would literally be an instant burst, and then the whole process would be slowing it down. Okay? Which then creates another problem. Moving an object instantly to that speed, going from 0 to that speed,
We'll break it apart.
would destroy it, destroy any living thing on it. Okay? Because the gravitational force inside the object to save everything would be so great that it would outweigh the gravitational force that's currently in our solar system, which then would destroy everything around it. In order for us to get to these things, first of all, before we can ever get to ion drives that work, we're going to have to figure out artificial gravity on a ship where it's not a large round object spinning.
Yes.
Because that is a proven theory. In order to create gravity in space, it has to have a rotation. Okay? You can't just have an object sitting there and it just has gravity.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way. Okay? So in order to have an object like this have gravity, we've got to figure out a way to make an artificial gravitational field. Once we do that, if we have a drive system that makes it move faster than the speed of light, the gravitational field has to be able to keep up with it. Okay, which means you would, and in fact, theoretically, go to the edge of it and destroy whatever hits the edge. Okay, I would love to see, ion drives. The theory is very possible to be made in a large object. The problem is, how do we slow them down? How do we stop them?
Yeah.
Once they get going, because ion drive, you're talking about something that's 1,000 times more powerful than the propulsion we currently use for propulsion purposes.
Yeah.
Okay? How do we stop it? Once we get it going, you might as well, like, put a guy inside and say, okay, we're going to light the candle. We will not be alive when you get back. Because by the time you stop it, turn it around, and come back, you're probably going to be gone 60, 70 years. Because the amount of time it's going to take to slow it down without killing the guy on board.
Yeah.
In fact, you better send him with a woman, and in the process of slowing down, they have a child that can get it back. Okay? But I hope that one day we figure out how to go from here to here at the speed of warp and stop where it doesn't kill anybody.
Yeah.
And where it doesn't destroy the ship and it doesn't cause people to lose time. However, like I said, I subscribe to the theory that the moment you move past the speed of light, which it's possible,
Time stops.
Time stops. And so whoever leaves on that first trip beyond the speed of light will come back the same as when they left. All of us will have gotten a hell of a lot older.
Yes.
You know? And then it's just like the whole idea is, will they remember them? Will they be able to just return back, you know? But when we leave the solar system, it's safer to count that you won't come back. No, and I don't think we will. I think the moment we've figured out how to leave the solar system with manned space travel, we won't be, that first crew that goes out will not be coming home.
Oh.
It'll be one of those things. It's like, look, we're sending you, understand, they're going to say it's a suicide mission. It's not necessarily a suicide mission. It's just you won't be able to make it back in time before you're dead. You'll have died of old age on board. But the problem is we can't really do that right now. Even if we had the technology to do it right this minute, we can't, because we have not figured out how to sustain life in a zero gravity for that long.
Correct.
You know, what is it? I know what the record is, but we've come up with a theory on exactly how long the human body can last before it starts to break down inside. Because gravity also helps keep our bodies together, not only our skin and things that keep it on the inside, but gravity helps keep things where it is.
Yes.
And without that, it's kind of working its way around, and eventually we'll get jacked up inside and you'll die anyway.
Yep.
Maybe communicate from out there, but the time difference dilation would be too great.
It's just like in that one movie with damn it, I saw it not too long ago. It has to do with
Interstellar?
no, it's not Interstellar. It has chick from Hunger Games, Jennifer Hudson. No, not Jennifer Hudson. Fucking Jennifer.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. So it's her and one other dude who's on this deep space flight. And so,
is that the one where they were frozen and they got woke up too early? And,
yeah.
Okay, I know which one you're talking about.
Chris Pratt?
Yeah, Chris Pratt.
With Chris Pratt on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know which one he's talking about. I haven't seen it. I want to see it.
It's great. Well, apparently one of the things is that he wakes up too early, and he tries to send a message to them, and saying that to get the message from where they're at to Earth would take about, I think it said like 8 weeks. And then for Earth to go ahead and send a message back to them, it would take 3 years.
Well, yeah. Because by the time they get it, they've moved so far that the message to get to them would take longer.
Exactly.
Well, and like I said,
Jennifer Lawrence.
The thing is, okay, the problem is us sending out a radio communication for something that's moving faster than the speed of light. If time's come to a stop,
yes,
then technically the message would go nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't transmit outside of it.
Correct.
Because if it got outside of where that object was traveling at the speed of light, it would become distorted and be unrecognizable. So that in order to send a message out, the ship would have to come to a stop.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be time for us to call.
Yeah, I think it is because we're getting ready to hit the 2-hour mark. You're obviously in pain.
I'm in a lot of pain.
Okay, so and we know about that, so we don't need to push this any further. But yeah, Bacon, it would be wonderful to sit down and talk with you for hours on this shit.
Yeah. So
Is there a dog outside?
no, that's Patches scratching at the wall.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. So before we go ahead and close this out, let's go ahead and remind people that we are looking for 100 subscribers.
100.
100. As soon as we go ahead and hit 100, we'll go ahead and get a custom URL. We'll also do another drawing to include the other 25 people who are in it for a Toyota.
Yes, a brand new Toyota.
So yeah.
Yeah, so tell your friends about it. You know, get them out here. Get them subscribed. We'll put everybody's name in a hat and we'll draw it and somebody will get it.
Yes.
And so, anyway, that's it.
Yes, that's it for the show. On behalf of the Raj and Rich Show, thank you for watching and tuning in with us. I'm Raj.
And I'm Rich, and that's it. We're gone. We're out of here. See you later. Bye.